Can Red Lobster's new seafood boil save them from bankruptcy? Now, in the past few weeks, you guys might have seen that Red Lobster dropped a new menu item. Yes, that's right. Red Lobster now sells seafood boils. Why? In case you guys don't know, Red Lobster has been facing some serious financial troubles, from closing over 100 stores across the country to filing for bankruptcy in 2024. Yeah, things haven't been looking too good for the company. Yeah, I don't know if Endless Shrimp was a good financial decision. To shake things up, Red Lobster brought in a new CEO, Damola Adamalekan. At 36 years of age, he's the youngest CEO in the company's history. This guy's resume is stacked. If you go on LinkedIn, he started off working in private equity at Goldman Sachs to becoming P.F. Chang's CEO at 31. He's been the face of the restaurant, going on the news, social media, YouTube channels. This guy is basically a corporate influencer. Honestly, he's probably one LinkedIn post away from doing seafood mukbangs. Anyways, in an effort to get customers back in stores, Red Lobster now sells seafood boils. So we're gonna answer the question, can Red Lobster's seafood boils save them from bankruptcy? Let's find out. I drove to the nearest Red Lobster, which was about 30 minutes away from me. I honestly haven't been inside a Red Lobster in probably over a decade. So it's gonna be interesting to see how things have evolved and if the cheddar biscuits are as good as I remember them. So I got seated at the bar, and to be honest, it actually did look like Red Lobster upgraded their interior, which is great because it used to look like the back rooms. Honestly, great to see that they still got their iconic lobster tank. Yeah, I think this guy knew what was up though. This is the new menu Red Lobster has specifically for their seafood boils. They've got two types of boils, the Mariner's boil and the Sailor's boil. Yo, the calorie count on this is crazy. The Sailor's boil is 1320 calories and the roasted garlic butter is 1720 calories. Literally putting my health at risk for you guys. Anyways, I ended up getting the Mariner's boil with a side of Cajun sauce, tossed in the Old Bay and Parmesan seasoning. So it looks like they gave me 4 cheddar biscuits. The moment of truth to see if the biscuits were actually good or if it was just my underdeveloped taste buds. And surprisingly, the biscuits were as good as I remember them. This ain't like the Popeyes biscuits where I feel like I could die by asphyxiation. It was moist, flaky, and buttery, had a nice blend of garlic and herbs, and a rich cheddar flavor. My one critique was that this batch was a tad salty, or maybe that's how it's supposed to be. I don't know, I haven't been here in a while. But overall, it's good. The seafood boil came in, and after struggling to get my bib on, it was time to dig in. In it, I got the crab, lobster, potatoes, shrimp, corn, and then I also got the sausage on the side. Okay, we'll just start off with the Cajun sausage. And let me tell you guys, I was actually really surprised. It had a nice, bold, deep flavor from the Cajun seasoning, smoky, a little heat to it. Wouldn't necessarily call it a kick, but maybe a little tap. I think it was like a $6.50 surcharge. A bit of a small portion for a $6.50 surcharge, but the sausage is good. Let's dip it in the seasoning. Ooh, coated. That seafood boil is good. Alright guys, the seafood boil is probably gonna get pretty messy, so I might have to do a voiceover for the rest of this video. After, it was time to do the real investigative work and dig into the seafood boil. We're gonna be building up to it, first starting off with the potatoes, then the corn, shrimp, crab, and finally, the lobster. Up first, the potatoes. And let me tell you guys, the potatoes held the seasoning well. I've heard this critique before, but honestly, the potatoes could be cooked a little bit more, just a tad. Now the Old Bay Parmesan itself is savory and flavorful, slightly sweet. The Parmesan flavor doesn't really come through though. I feel like the Parmesan made the sauce super rich and heavy, but I wasn't getting that sharp, nutty depth from the Parmesan to balance the Old Bay heat. But overall, it's still done well. Look at my big back going to coat the potatoes in the Old Bay. Again. Now the corn. Let me say, Red Lobster must have a good corn supplier because the corn on the cob was so juicy and sweet. Just look at how it was scored. I almost forgot I was doing a food review for a second because I was too busy going to town on this corn. And unlike the potatoes, I didn't even have to go back and coat the corn in the Old Bay seasoning because the natural sweetness of the corn itself was enough. Now the shrimp. Look at how it's just shining in its coat of butter. Surprisingly, the shrimp was cooked well. For some reason, I was expecting it to be overcooked and rubbery, but it was juicy and sweet. Look at that, just slides right out of the tail. Looking at the portion size, I thought I would leave hungry. Here I am, talking all my shit, and I was struggling midway. I feel my cholesterol rising. I know it only looks like I had one piece of shrimp, potato, and corn, but off camera, I downed the shrimp and corn. The crab. I love crab. My only gripe with crab is that it's so much effort for such little meat. Case in point. I will say, there's nothing more satisfying than a nice crab pull. Red Lobster's crab specifically, let me just say that the crab definitely came frozen because it did not taste fresh at all. It was old and stale. Yeah, I definitely think they need to have a crab tank outside as well. Bam! Now the lobster tail. Look at how that lobster is glistening. The lobster was juicy and succulent. Unlike the crab, it tasted fresh. I mean, you'd hope so considering that they got their supply outside. Anyways, when all was said and done, I got the bill and the total for the seafood boil was $62.51. So, is Red Lobster seafood boil good enough to save them for bankruptcy? Maybe. The seasoning and sausage are standouts for me, so the flavor is there. But I will say I am very disappointed in the fact that they give you one measly lobster tail and a crab that tastes like it was sitting overnight. You'd be hoping for the price you pay they'd include more of the crab and lobster. Seems like they're just cutting costs by cheaping out. In the future, if they included more of that, I would recommend it, but as it stands right now, I think you're much better off just going to your local seafood boil restaurant. Or maybe the real feast were the savings they made along the way.